I was really amazed by the level of talent that we had here. Only pain points. I didn't hear one good thing. I think it all starts with the government. If you want to compare someone right now, it's Saudi. They are unstoppable.
Pirlanta Toubba,
a believer in talent.
Founder of Phenomena Productions, representing some of the best artists and creators in the region.
Who is on a mission to promote rising talent in the region.
I honestly wanted to study politics initially. I had an aha moment where I was like, I'm gonna combine the social issues, politics, with the power of filmmaking and media and bring them together. Because if you're stuck in one pattern and you're saying, why is this not working? I'm trying, Tama, you're trying the wrong thing. Wallahi, I never knew the depth of what happens behind the scenes to create just one scene. Everything has a meaning.
Where does that money come from though? Oh, Pirlanta Toubba. I pronounced it correct, صح?
Of course.
I thought this name was like it took me a while to kind of like remember it a bit, but I picked it up very quickly at the same time. I was like, Pirlanta. I was like, where's that name from? Ladies and gentlemen, Pirlanta Toubba, welcome to Zeno Talks.
Thank you for having me.
I'm honored that you're here. We are very old friends. We've been together at the American University in Dubai. We're proud alumni. And you know, we've both come a very long way. And this is your first podcast, and I'm really honored that you're doing your first podcast with me and here at Zeno Talks. And a lot of people don't know this about you. I mean, only the people in the actual industry. But what I find fascinating about Pirlanta is now that the UAE is evolving, and we talked about this just a few months ago, the UAE and also in Dubai in particular is trying to evolve and into different sectors. And one of them that they're trying to promote heavily is the creative economy. And you, my friend, are the champion of the creative economy. You're the founder of Phenomena Productions, and you represent artists, creators, and you've done video clips. I've seen a lot of your amazing work over the years, and you're representing some of the best artists in the region. Like, you're really giving not only a platform but a voice to these people that were, you know, for the most part unheard, unless you went to like some under party or some house party or some underground whatever, you know, like session or something, you know, you go, or like once in a while there'll be something in Sarkal Avenue and that's it, you know, but it's never there. But you came to the scene and you brought that all to life. And I'm sure myself and a lot of other people are grateful to the work that you've done. So without further ado, I'm speaking too much. This is about you, not about me, and what I think about you and how great you are.
Thank you.
Let us hear your story. Start with explaining what your name means, why you got that name, how your time in AUD has evolved and got you to where you are today.
Amazing. First of all, thank you so much for having me on this podcast and for this beautiful introduction. And my name, honestly, has always been a struggle, I have to say, because not everyone gets it. And everyone asks for a shortcut, like a nickname. And the ones that do, the ones that call me by my name and don't ask for nicknames, I respect them so much. I feel they have a place in my heart more than anybody else, because this is really almost a daily thing, you know, because you meet people on a daily. I'm in a very social industry, and I always struggle with that. So sometimes I think of, recently I've been thinking of introducing myself with my last name. Ms. Toubba, masalan. You know, maybe to make it easier for more people to, you know, to remember my name.
I mean, listen, the name's very exotic. And the whole vibe, like your whole vibe is always like this bohemian slash hipster slash elegance slash all this. So like, I think they're trying to like, I think maybe when they look at you, they first focus like where's she from? And then they because I think with the name, like if you look at a person and someone's like Sarah, and then it's, oh, Jennifer. And then it's like, okay, Jennifer, white, this, you know, it's easy, I guess, you know, or Umar, you know, like, oh, Arab, that's it, you know. Easy to remember him. He's definitely a Umar or Muhammad, or but then when they look at you, they're like, where is she from? And I don't know what name could I attach to a name that face that looks like that, you know?
True. I mean, it is a very unique name.
Yeah.
It's not a common name. It means diamond in the rough. So there's elmas in Turkish. It's a Turkish noun. There's elmas, which is a common human name, female name.
Yes.
But Pirlanta, elmas is the one that they've already refined and put in the stores for you to buy.
Okay.
And Pirlanta is the rock, you know, before literally in the rough.
Okay, that's
so
cool.
it has a strong meaning, and I think it sounds very Pirlanta.
I
it
love
has
it.
a melody to it a little bit, and yeah, but yeah. So it's I don't know. Did you want me to say where my roots are from?
Yes, your roots, both. Yeah, so now we know the name where it came from. Now we know your roots. So you said Turkish, so I'm guessing it's obviously Turkish as well.
Yes, my mom is Turkish. My dad is Syrian. I was born in Saudi, and I grew up in the UAE, in Dubai all my life. Yes.
You're a global citizen.
I am a global citizen. Yes,
okay.
yes.
Yeah, cool. So you grew up here. Then you went to AUD.
Yes, I started off in AUD, and then I transferred to LAU. AUD, I mean... you know, okay, I honestly wanted to study politics initially.
Yeah.
So politics and international law. Not a lot of people know this, but...
Why though? Why did you want to study that?
I thought, as someone who was younger and more naive, I think, in my ways of thinking at the time, I thought I could change the world. I can create an impact in this region. All the wars and poverty that I saw growing up, my dad being I think a lot of our dads would be sitting there watching the news.
Yeah, all of them.
And I'm just sitting next to him, not wanting to watch cartoons. Somehow I was drawn to the misery and the darkness of this world, and I just wanted to bring light to it. And I thought, you know, I want to study politics because I thought if I am a political leader, that I could drive change. And my parents at the time very much were against it, and living in a country that did not have politics, you know, as a study in universities.
Yeah.
So a part of me was, you know, reconsidering.
Yeah.
And my parents didn't want to send me out either. My mom always said, you know, if I had 5 girls, I'll send one.
Yeah.
I only have 1 girl. You're staying here, safe and sound at your parents' house.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're loving and relatively selfish decisions had made right? I mean, it was, you know.
I don't know, Mom, please. You're not watching this. Just imagine you're not watching this.
I love you,
God.
okay?
Yeah,
you know how much I do.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's no regrets. You know, everything happens for a reason. I believe in destiny. I believe in qadar. I believe all of this. So it's okay. I am here for a reason. And my journey... you know, was written for me.
Yes.
You know, it was destined to be this way. But yes, and at the time, I really wanted to travel then because it wasn't here. So I'm like, I'll travel. I'll go. I want to learn this and study this and be someone in this industry. بس خلاص, يعني I had to work with what I had. And so I remember going and taking the brochure or whatever from AUD. And I remember opening it up like this. I'm like, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
You know, like what that, like I knew they really wanted that direction.
Yeah.
And I saw mass communication arts. What drew me to that? My mom was an initial... يعني she said,
influencer.
do media.
She influences.
Definitely. She's like, look at media. It's fun. It's creative. You know, she also imagined me in front of the camera being a TV presenter. She really wanted that for me. Or even maybe an actress or a director. She wanted that show business.
Did she come from that background?
No, but it was her dream to be that. And she studied law.
Oh, interesting.
Can you imagine? Her family wouldn't allow anything else. She studied law.
Okay.
And she loves health and biology, and also being a doctor was one of the things. But what fascinated her is that world of fame and creativity and all of that. So she saw me there.
Okay.
She really saw me there, and she tried to push me, you know, with no enforcement.
And also at home, can I ask, like, did you guys have like a lot of music playing in the background at home, or was it a very kind of like like that kind of a vibe at home growing up?
Yes,
Yeah?
yes.
Okay.
We had a balance of both. My
Okay.
families are quite conservative, but
Yeah.
at the same time, they appreciate art and music. But my mom specifically.
Okay.
Yeah, she's very, she loves music. She
That's
loves films. She appreciates art. So I think we got that from her. Both, I say we
Yeah.
as in me and my brother
Yeah,
as
okay.
well. So shout out to Karam. But what happened was, so I looked at it, and what drew me is that there were courses about journalism, news reporting, media ethics, not filmmaking, script writing,
Yeah.
digital content. That didn't draw, this
Yes.
wasn't my first. I was
Yes.
like, oh, there's a bit here, there's an opportunity here for me to
Yeah.
make impact.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, خلاص, I know what I want. We're gonna خلاص communication arts. وبعدين I'll do my focus in journalism, news reporting, and all of that. And I got into university for second year. It was still experimental at the time. Hamad bin Rashid Communication School of Arts was still new.
Yeah.
So they were testing different books, testing different professors. Wallah, there would one professor would walk in, we get used to him for 3 weeks, he's out, a new one comes. These courses are set, no, khalas, we added, we removed this. It was very experimental.
That's very interesting. I didn't even know about that. Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe because I was in the business school, like on the other side, the B building. You guys were what, in the A building?
In the, where the cafeteria
Yeah,
was.
okay,
Yes,
okay,
yes,
yeah.
yes. So I was a bit frustrated with that for a while, but still, I've still learned along the way. And we've had really good professors that stayed consistently as well.
Yeah.
And khalas, I was drawn to all of that. But when I took as, what do they call it? As a core requirement, filmmaking, script writing, the art of storytelling, all of these courses, wallahi, I never knew the depth and of what happens behind the scenes to create just one scene.
Interesting.
And everything has a meaning. Everything is thought about.
Yeah.
It's not just, it just looks good on camera.
Yeah,
No. In like film, like proper cinema,
yeah.
like I'm talking about like cinema, not your blockbusters. Okay, there's a lot of skill set there too. I'm not underestimating that, but the impactful films that can change perceptions of audiences and people, of cultures, that when I studied that and I understood the art and the efforts and the pre-production that's required and writing and mind. You need to be a genius, really, to come up with something that's effective and not preaching, In film, it's always show, don't tell.
Yes.
The more dialogue there is, the more you're just filling in the space to create a film. The less dialogue and more that you're showing in a frame without even having the character speak too much, how do you deliver that moment?
Especially those movies back then. Remember, there was no voice, there was no sound, but you understand the whole plot.
صح.
And there's just no sound. You couldn't, whatever
Charlie
they didn't even
Chaplin.
have. Charlie Chaplin, all of that.
Yes,
and
silent films.
You would understand it. And every single person around the world could understand just by human behavior.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the magic of a director and the magic of script writers that come together. So that introduced me to a whole new world I had zero idea about, though I used to watch movies growing up.
Yeah.
But I never thought, how is it made? I didn't even think about it, subhanAllah. I don't know why. As kids, we question, how did they do that? I just thought it's maybe reality. I don't know. And I was more drawn to nonfiction than fiction, to be honest. So news, documentary, and all of that. So that, when they ask you, when did you know you really wanted that passion?
Yeah.
Oh, when I was a kid. I was always holding a camera. No, that's not my story at all. It was literally through learning that this passion sparked when it came to filmmaking.
Interesting.
And I was like, okay. Then
you were at uni at this time?
At uni. I fell in, khalas, instead of coming to class saying, Ya Allah, I want the news reporting class.
Yeah.
The first time, a couple of sessions after, I'm like, I can't wait to go back to that class. My whole perspective changed. And it's not like I dismissed politics, news reporting, and all of that, but this became a new passion and new focus for me. And I had an aha moment where I was like, okay, I'm gonna combine the social issues, politics, anything that I want to communicate with the power of filmmaking and media and bring them together.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, there's no need, ya hay.
Yes, yeah.
Bring them together and see what kind of messages you can communicate in a fictional or is inspired by true events and, you know, based on true stories or whatever. Yeah. And I said, that is going to be my path. Yeah. This makes sense.
That's amazing. And, you know, to be honest, if you look at historically, a lot of political statements and everything else, or social issues, was communicated through art, through plays like theater. Everybody knows this, or you know, or poetry. Like that is huge. Paintings, that's also huge. All of these things happen through one form of medium of art, and then comes Pirlanta doing her thing. And it was always very strong and the most powerful thing. I mean, even when it was with any sort of like politician, a very impactful politician, they used communication in producing content as the most effective form. You know, there's that famous picture of that American Uncle Sam, you know, your country needs you. There's that with the big finger pointing at you and whatever, and that's an artwork, very effective. It made a lot of people, you know, or in the UK with World War II, they had that poster, keep calm. Like a lot of people don't know that poster which says like keep calm, and you know,
it became a trend.
But that keep calm, there will be bread, or there'll be whatever. Like it was to keep people in the community safe, or to feel more safe while the war was going on, and they didn't have to feel like there's going to be poverty or something, you know. So the art plays a bit. So I'm with you. I'm all the way with you.
It is super.
So you learned
effective.
about all of this. You were in university. Now tell us. Then what happened? You were in university. What, 4 years, I guess?
Yes, I transferred in the third year
to Lebanese American University. LAU. Okay.
Yes, in Beirut, and honestly, it's just when my parents, I just had 1 year and I graduate. But when my parents at that point said, khalas, fine, because I was still insisting. And
to go overseas,
yes, and I just transferred a few credits. I stayed a year and a half. It was worth it. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
I transferred there and I continued even with theater. All my topics, all my projects were related to politics. My final project we had to create a short film.
Oh wow!
And it was about, you know, having these. It was a story about these two characters. One who was like this communist Che Guevara kind of a character, and then this other guy who was a best friend of his, completely turned his back to that mission. Has become this big media mogul, super capitalist. And, you know, these exercises, I didn't know which one I didn't know which direction I was supporting. I did it as an experiment for me to figure out where I stand. You know, I had to kill one of them in the end. Do you want to know who I killed? Do you want to give it a guess?
You definitely killed the capitalist.
No,
really?
Oh my God! I mean, I wasn't happy to save him because he wasn't the capitalist that I made him look like a villain. Yeah, you know, you could have a lot of money and give back and create businesses that could help communities and all of that. But some people use the money to destroy society. Okay, but you can be a good capitalist.
But that's what I mean. I mean, with all these, you see, I think with all these different. Sort of ideologies, political ideologies or political theory or whatever, I feel there's also degrees of them. You know, there's some places where like it's super extreme or whatever. Like some people will say, for example, I don't know, like China's communist or whatever. However, like they've definitely changed the way they run the country. Look at them now. They have the largest economy in the world. They've surpassed the US already or about to. Like they're somewhere there. But then not that I'm not supporting it or this. For me, the best system of governance, not to be biased, but I really love the way the UAE is run and the way like things are here, which is the reason why everybody is moving here.
Absolutely.
There's opportunity for all, and when you don't have enough opportunity, you can always seek assistance and help, and it's, you know, fine. You know, you don't have. Some people don't know this, but you know. When people have cancer, for example, if you cannot afford not for UAE nationals, even if you're not a national, the government supports you here.
Really?
Yes, they announced that a few years ago. Yeah,
I did not know that. That's amazing.
They do that. There's a lot of things. they don't want to promote it in the sense that, you know, to brag about, hey, look what we're doing. But if you're in that situation, yeah, there's a lot of things that they do here, but they don't like to talk about. Like, you know, they say, especially when it comes to charity, maybe mostly because, especially in Islam, if the right hand gives, the left hand shouldn't know. Like, it's like that. You should just it's between you and your creator. Anyways, well, I digressed. But moving back to, so you killed the communist. Yeah, we got that. We killed the commie. You got to the capitalist.
And I got an A on that.
Oh, good. Mabruk. I don't know if you would get an A if you killed the capitalist.
I'm not sure.
No.
I'm not sure because he was an American professor. I don't know if he was like, okay, I'm giving her an A for that.
Now it explains everything.
I need to ask him after many years later. But I was actually surprised because it was quite incomplete in terms of editing and everything. And I walked in, I got my grade, and I went to his office, and I'm like, I got an A.
Oh, okay.
You know, like that's big for because it's subjective as well. You know?
Is that the point where you knew, okay, this is going to have to be a profession. This is my lifelong purpose.
Pretty much, yeah. Okay. A lot has changed since then, but pretty much I was very dedicated to having powerful messages. And honestly, fast forward, my first music video that really put me on the map. I didn't think of creating music videos at the time. For me, it was like, okay, I'm going to do all the commercial stuff to make money and then invest that money into my films or seek funding or whatever. Okay. That was the dream. Yeah. And I had one day an artist come to me and I didn't know him. He was just kind of suggested, I don't know how, it was through connections or whatever. He's Iraqi Kiwi. And
did you already have a business at this point?
Yes.
No, but tell us before you got into that. How did that happen? What? Okay, you graduated, you got your A.
Oh yeah, okay.
Thank you, Professor. You came back to the UAE.
Yes.
And then?
And then I started my internship in a production house called Alchemy Films at the time.
Okay.
Only for like 6 months. And then I moved. I had an old friend, Jad Sabi, who's an amazing, previously he was a production manager and then assistant director. And now he's a DP. And he called me and said, look, we have a vacancy here as a production coordinator. Why don't you like come to Boomtown Productions at the time? Executive producer Shane Martin, that I really send my regards to if he watches this. So I said, yeah, okay, I'm going to apply. I've just got a month of this internship. I'll leave and I'll come to Boomtown. And I moved to Boomtown. And it was a year and 3 months that I stayed there. Okay. Completely learned so much about the industry. And the industry is very small in the UAE. Hala, it's getting bigger. I see a lot of production houses establishing themselves here or branching out here, you know. But at the time, like Boomtown was one of the most recognized. You know, they call Shane Martin the godfather of the industry. So he has a very good reputation and really big clientele. And I was learning a lot. But from time to time, we had these little low budget, you know, music videos and stuff that would come in our emails. And he would say, avoid that. We're not here to waste time. Don't waste your time on small projects.
But you saw that as an opportunity.
I saw it as an opportunity. And I love music.
Very smart.
And I was growing up with music artists. So it was part of my life, my mom, everything, you know. So for me, I was like, why? This is fun. Like music videos are fun. Commercials are whatever, like boring, you know. There's a ceiling to it. And I never like took them on, but it kind of sparked something in my head. And I was like, you know what? At this point, this is becoming stressful and it's killing my creative soul. And I need to get out and figure it out. And I remember like Shane Martin asking me like, is it the salary? Is it something that you don't like?
Can we work around something?
And I said, really, it's nothing. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've learned so much, met so many people, but I want to figure it out on my own. And I honestly just went into freelancing world for 4 years. And I was still freelancing with them. I was making more on a project than my salary.
Than your salary.
It's like I never left and making more money.
Oh my God.
So they got used to me. Khalas, I was their go-to, for they were booking me over and over, which is great. And I started working with other production companies.
What would you do? What was your role anyways?
Production coordinator.
Oh, okay.
So I was under the production manager, making sure the call sheets are out, making phone calls to book crew, cast, getting certain quotes from our suppliers, so, you know, responding to certain emails, preparing the production, pre-production booklet for meetings with clients. So yeah, pretty much assisting the manager and the producer.
That's insane. I mean, you know what? The only time when I actually know that there's so much work to do in it comes to like a movie, a commercial, whatever, when you look at the credits at the end of it, you're like, oh my God, they have all those people. There's so many people.
Yeah.
Because sometimes like this, it was an X $1 million budget or whatever. I'm like, why? It looks pretty easy. I'm like, well, the location looks like it's any location. Then why is there so many people involved? But yeah, it's insane. Okay.
It is. It is. It takes a lot to create just one scene, you know. And so and then I worked my way up as a freelancer to production manager, and then became a producer. Okay. And then I started studying. You know, I decided I wanted to start a business, and I started, you know, researching and studying how to start a business and how to become an entrepreneur, you know, because I really wanted to attract my own projects. Yeah. I really wanted to create my own, you know, vision. And I just thought everyone's doing the same. Yeah. You know, and I get it. Like after I've learned and I established, you know, the business, I was very hesitant in the beginning, but then khalas, you get this confidence when you feel like you check the list of what you need and how to kickstart. You have your little vision and mission in place, you know, and then you print those cards and then handing over those cards. You were the first person I hand my business card to.
Thank you. I'm honored. We were at a very cool coffee shop. Pirlanta called me out of nowhere. She's like, I want to see you. And then, you know, like, hey, by the way, I have this business card. I was like, what? And I got your business card. I loved it. It was so cool.
You were so happy that I started a business.
I was so proud of you.
Ooh, and instantly I got a job from you. You given me my first lead.
Yeah, I did. Listen, this is not the reason I brought Pirlanta to the show. It just happens to be coincidentally sponsored by.
He paid me to say this.
You know, can I tell you one thing? I'm so happy. Alhamdulillah. I'm very happy that there's a lot of people in my life that I was able to give them their first contracts. Like in business, you know, I'm a major advocate for entrepreneurs. I love it. That's why I was so proud of you. I was like, let me help you. Let me try to give you like it. So I'm glad I can have a small, you know, contribution, you know, like Jad, you mentioned the professor, everybody. So yeah, and your mom, of course. So,
of course.
Yeah, it's good. Somewhere there in the timeline.
No, 100%. And I remember being, you know, getting your first like gig, and I was like, sure, let's go. You know, I was so excited that this is Hiki, a first kind of push into accelerating Hiki, my business. And and then down the line, you know, I think what really put me on the map is that music video, you know. It came through. It
was really cool, by the way.
Yes.
I loved it. Thank you. I had a chance to review it. You remember, you did send it to me.
Yes.
Iraq,
No, which one? The Iraq? Yeah. Of course.
You sent it to me.
Of course.
And
Of course.
Yeah,
and yes, I said, is it okay if I post it?
Yeah. So every time, just to let you know, like the censorship model for Phenomena Productions is to go through Omar Busaidy.
100%.
You know, and you know, by the way, before we proceed, I want to tell you something very quickly. There's a lot of similarity between you and me. It's unbelievable. We have a lot in common. So AUD, for those of you who don't know, don't have like a political program like for education. So I ended up with marketing. But I really wanted to study international affairs, political science, etc. There was only one elective in Middle East politics. That's all that I had. Although in that class, I wrote my paper was on water wars, and I got an A for that class, you know. And the professor and I she loved me, honestly. But just like your mom, my mom did not want me to leave the country. So that's the reason why I didn't go overseas. Although I have my siblings, my older sister Aida, my brother Ali, they studied in the US, but my mom did, for some reason, she's like, you're my first son, I don't want you to leave. So I had the same situation as you. She didn't want me to go. And it's crazy. So I ended up here. I'm lucky that I ended up much later to still pursue what I want to do, which is my master's in international affairs and intelligence in the US. But finally, you know, but I wanted to do my bachelor's just like you, same program. They didn't have an AUD, so I ended up with the next, I guess, best thing.
Wow.
So yeah, I wanted to share that with you.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyways,
so
this is about you.
yes,
Now, going
yes,
back to you.
Yes.
You gave me your business card. You started Phenomenal Productions, you know, and then the work started coming. The Iraqi video you said, that was like the one that really put you on like the scene. Everybody was like, okay, we have a major player here. Amazing.
Yes, especially artists. And you know, that was such a, there was a sense of gratification because it was political, remember?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it was my first, you remember the aha moment of why don't you use da-da-da-da? I did it.
Yeah.
You know,
You're living a dream.
Exactly. It was only, instead of it being a film, it was a music video format, which is okay. I love music and all of that. And he came to me and he said, no one wants to do this for me. And I'm like, what is it? He's like, you know, the Childish Gambino, this is America.
Yeah.
I want to do a version, this is Iraq.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's hear it. I'm down for it, you know? And obviously, fast forward, I asked you if this is going to give us trouble.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, the next day it was on national without even us promoting it.
Yeah.
And no one wanted to have their name on it.
Yeah.
And suddenly everyone wanted their name on it because it literally went viral.
Yeah.
To Jazeera, to Vice, to Russia TV, Khabar Ajal on it was so funny.
Yeah.
So we really created an impact there, and we were able to send out a very strong message. And I think across the board, everyone was so proud of the project. And ever since, now I started I was already working with the government and, you know, trying to pitch for commercials and all that. But now a whole new community was starting to get attracted to me, which is the music scene.
Amazing. Yeah.
And that's when I started to create packages for music videos and music artists. I started to meet with them first to understand like where they're at, what's going on. Because I was really amazed by the level of talent that we had here. And I really wanted to know, some were with me in school, some were my friends' partners, or you know what I mean? So they were around, Yani. And so I started to just explore a bit more and ask them questions and see where they're at and their only pain points. I didn't hear one good thing, apart from how much they love making music.
Nice.
Everything else was, leave it behind. This is just a hobby. Go find a proper job. They don't pay them on time. They don't take them seriously. They don't pay them at all.
Yeah.
So at the time, I'm talking like at least 6 to 7 years ago, it's very different to how it is today.
Yeah.
They're getting a lot of recognition and a lot of, we're still evolving as we go, but it's developing even faster, I think, right now. But yeah, I think I've really contributed in that sense when it comes to music videos initially. I was just, as a filmmaker, helping them elevate their visuals. I wasn't a manager. I wasn't an advocate in that sense. Giving them 50% discounts, making deals to just make sure that I can deliver good quality videos, you know? And
you know, I want to tell you something else that's a bit interesting. Again, we have something in common. I used to do a lot of commercials. Actually, when I was a student at AUD, they used to always get me into, like, to be an extra in these commercials. And I actually didn't care being an extra because it paid a lot of money. At that time, it was a lot of money. I was like, what? 1,000 dirham for like an hour? Okay, fine, I'll do it. Okay. I was like, I didn't know I was worth that much. I didn't know I would be good for the camera. But I did a few things. I mean, I did for Ford, for, I think it was Pepsi, a bank in Saudi or something. So I was always like an extra. Like, I remember... I wanted so bad to be in that movie Syriana, again, like a political kind of movie, like George Clooney, Matt Damon. And they filmed it here. And I did not pass the guy who opens the door at Emirates Towers as George Clooney walks in. I was like, how did I not get this role? I just wanted to be an extra, to be the guy that opens the door for George Clooney as he walks in. And I didn't. That's the time when I never cast it again. I was like, that's it, I'm done. So, without mentioning the company out there, thank you very much for giving me a lot of other roles, but that was the one I really wanted. I went to them, I was like, guys, please, I love George Clooney. He's so cool. And and I love Matt Damon too. And I was like, I never got that role. So I always pitched to be an extra. I was like, that's it. That's all I want. But they give it to somebody else. And he didn't even look like he was from here. They wanted like an Arab look. It was like some white guy who put on like a غطرة عقال and they gave it to that guy. I swear to God.
Come on.
I know. I was so mad. That for me till now is a thorn in my like, until there's another big hit like Hollywood movie. They do it here. Pirlanta, if you got connections and you, if I can be a guy that all I want is to shake hands with Denzel Washington.
Oh wow.
Anybody in the world. Like, I don't care about any of the actors out there. Oh, sorry, Jason Statham and Guy. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you're friends with Guy Ritchie or anybody like that, yeah.
Soon.
Just now you know. Hint.
Yes, exactly.
I had to put the plug there.
But
yeah.
wallah, I was thinking they probably didn't give you the role because you probably would have relatively overshadowed George Clooney. You're tall, you have charisma and character, and sometimes we think, no, why not me? But sometimes because you're overshadowing the main hero.
Thank you. She's so nice. You're gonna come. We're gonna have another session of you in this Zeno talk. So thank you. I'll talk to the owners. I'll tell, hey, we need Pirlanta back. You uplifted my ego. So this is really cool. Like you did that, mashallah. And now, Pirlanta, you and I recently we got together and we were talking about something that was really interesting. And you're a major advocate now of trying to get even more support from the authorities about the creative industry and the work that you're doing. Tell us a little bit more about that. So you talked about some of the pain points for the artist, like not getting paid on time sometimes, or this or that, or maybe sometimes there's not enough money, or there's not enough like platforms. So what, in your opinion, does the UAE, does the Gulf, does this region, the Middle East, what do we need to be a major player in the creative industry?
We need a music strategy. We need infrastructure, and this needs to be on a federal level with the support of the government. This is the main thing. We are all private companies trying to create something with different intention. I don't honestly, and I see a lack, even if we have like artist booking agencies, we don't really have strong management, like artist management agencies, and there's no funding either. And even like,
sponsors are there? Where does that money come from, though? I mean, like walk me through it. Like, okay, if you, for example, so what's the difference between here and I guess one of the most successful places, the US? So what's the difference about the pop culture there and the industry there versus the industry? So what tell us the ecosystem and like the value chain.
Yeah.
What's there? And what makes that successful versus what's not here and what's not making it successful?
A music commission. We don't have that. I think it all starts with the government because we're all here creating something. Everyone's like playing their role on a separate road, but we need the ecosystem, which we don't have. We don't have.
What does a music commission do, actually? Well, I don't even know. What do they do?
So the music commission sets the music strategy of the nation.
Does the US, is it called the US Music Commission?
They have unions there. They have unions there. So it's different.
It's different.
But if you want to compare someone right now, it's Saudi.
Okay, so
Saudi.
They have a music commission.
100. They have a music commission for theater, for fashion. They have for films. They have so many commissions related to the creative economy and creative industries, which we do not have.
That's very interesting.
And they've created it almost overnight. And I don't know why we're still not looking at this as an opportunity.
So let's say now you have a music commission. You are an aspiring artist. You're making music at home. You're sitting at a place like this. Maybe you uploaded a few records or your singles on SoundCloud or Spotify or whatever. But then you can go to the music commission. Do they evaluate you? What, they put you like in a studio and say, "Yalla, let's listen to you and see what you've got," or what do they?
They can fund you. And
they'll fund you, like they give you like a kind of a stipend, like an allowance or like a salary, or they give you like a one. What they fund you? Well, how do they fund you? What do they do?
Yeah, like cash. I mean, to just accelerate your music career.
But they will support you, and they'll give you almost like a salary, like for you to survive, because that's what artists need. Because there's always a starving artist phenomena, right?
Yes, of course. I think
So,
all of them
okay.
are pretty much on the starving spectrum.
Or couch surfing in people's homes.
Exactly.
And living in whatever. Okay,
Yeah, I
okay. So
mean-
that's what the commission does. I didn't know this.
The commission really just creates the strategy for the country or the city.
Okay.
So everything else, all the regulations, come underneath this commission.
What you can sing about, what you can talk about, like
Yes,
all those things
what
are
are
there.
the- exactly.
The red lines, what are the, okay.
For all
Okay.
private companies
Good.
to kind of apply. So
Okay.
there's a system.
Okay, good.
So that infrastructure is needed in order to kind of
Okay.
move things forward,
This is a
for
very
private
good
businesses.
Well, good. I didn't know this.
Yeah, 100%.
Is only Saudi the only country in the Gulf that has this? Does any other country in the Gulf have a commission like this? Does Kuwait? No.
Saudi is with MDL Beast or Middle
Middle
Beast.
Beast.
This is under the
This is
government. They created
okay.
a record label and an artist management, and they are unstoppable. There's education, workshops, funding, events, putting artists on stages. You know what I mean? Exporting as well is something that we need to look
Yeah.
into, because we're only importing all these big stars and big artists.
Yeah.
How about we import a few artists from the US, but export in return a few artists that are Emirati?
You know what? I'll tell you. One of my favorite DJs. So I listen to house music and I love house. I mean, of course, I like R&B, hip hop, whatever, but house is like number one.
Yeah.
That's mostly because of AUD. Now, there's a DJ in Saudi. Her name is Cosmic Cat.
Yes.
And I see her. I mean, she's definitely, I kind of figure that she's probably definitely supported by the government. She's performing at like Tomorrowland.
I know.
And all these huge places, Ibiza, whatever, all the
said it.
major, I'm like, and actually one of the things that I noticed recently, she recorded a record and then she mentions like Saudi Arabia. She mentions like Riyadh, some of the major cities, because you hear like London, New York, whatever sometimes.
course.
But now you hear her saying about like Riyadh, Dubai, whatever, like all the. I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Like we need these voices to go out making like music and yeah, like you said, exporting. Like we're taking our talent, exporting them to these huge major international venues, like which are visited by hundreds and thousands of people.
100%. 100%. And we want, if we are in this phase of we are, pushing the creative economy, we want the creatives to stay. But we're neglecting at this point the artists,
Yeah.
because they're like, okay, we're just going to go to US, to London, to whatever. But now they're about to say, we're going to go to Saudi.
That's actually a very
We're
good
not
point.
going to lose them to Saudi.
And you know what, Pirlanta, I've seen so many performances and artists who, for example, people who lived here but then are auditioning at America's Got Talent or Britain's Got Talent, but they would say their story and they say that, oh, this person lived in the UAE, they were born there, and then they moved over here. I'm like, what the hell? Like, we're losing those kind of people, and they became like really big, right? I mean, what was it Masari?
Masari, yeah, he's in Canada. He was based here,
But
he was in
based here, right?
Shreifat,
He was here. He went to school here. I'm
Yeah,
like, why are we
Wolf
losing? Yeah.
as well, yes.
I mean, look, one thing I know, the only thing that I've seen recently, and let me ask you this, is it working or not? I know we don't have enough time, but this is really important. As part of the UAE's initiative, when they announced the golden visa, one of the things they said is artists. Have you met anybody who came here as a result of them being like an artist in your field and they came in and got the golden visa as a result?
Yes.
They do, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
I've actually, it's a service I provide for my artists.
Oh,
I
okay.
push them to get the golden visa.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, and I get them prepared to prepare what is needed.
Okay, good.
So they have been getting it, which I'm very happy
That's
about.
amazing. So, shout out. So,
Yeah.
guys, if you are an artist listening to this around the world and you want to move to the UAE, you can get a golden visa through Phenomena Productions.
Yes, and Last Seen Live.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, this
Yes.
is okay. So that's good to know. I don't know a single person. I have a lot of friends. We had on the podcast Dr. Peter Stoyanov once, who's here, but he's like he has a PhD in quantum physics, and they did say that they wanted engineers and PhD holders and whatever, and they would give them the golden visa. And it's good to hear from you directly that they're giving artists. I don't know a single artist that has it. Is there anybody popular that you know, or
Saudi has it.
Oh, Saudi.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Where is he from?
He's Emirati, but also carries
okay, that's cool. Okay.
another passport.
Okay, cool.
But anyone from anywhere can get it. Literally, there's no restrictions. I have a good relationship with the ministry, so I've asked all these questions.
Okay.
No, it's just about their creative portfolio. They're on a track. they're considered.
And they get it, huh?
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Well,
amazing.
I haven't had anyone get rejected. صراحة,
Okay,
yeah.
that's really, really good to
Yes.
know. I'm happy that you shared that. So you told us, we heard you loud and clear what the UAE needs to in order to accelerate and to really grow the creative economy. And you told the audience out there or the people in your field where they should be coming if they want to be represented and get support and produce their music videos. They can always come to Phenomenal Production. What are your final words for Zeno Learning and Zeno Talks today? What is the final message that you have out there that you've been waiting to share to the rest of the world?
What is the message out there? Okay.
One thing I've learned from you is, honestly, persistence, because you talked about how, yes, you weren't allowed to go and study what you wanted to study. You did study, but you found a different way.
Yes.
And you came to doing what you're doing with your passion and everything else, but in a more creative way. Maybe you wouldn't have been in this production side. If you did study that, maybe you would have worked in the actual politics and stuff.
Yeah.
It would have been that great, but
yeah.
This what you're doing now fits your personality, your vibe, everything. So
true.
What message do you have or advice that you for the youngins out there?
Okay. I think, follow your heart as cliche as it sounds, but and everything happens for a reason. I mean, we hear these two things so many times and we're like, yeah, whatever. But really, I think, sometimes you want to take a certain direction and somehow life puts you in a place where actually this is where you flourish and where you belong.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you can't practice other things and learn. And, it's never too late. Like if I feel a sense of, I want to go do my master's in politics. I always said I want to do it. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Maybe I will.
Yeah.
It's never too late. Maybe khalas, I'll wait for a bit and I can do it online. Life has become so easy.
Yeah.
صح ولا لا?
Wow, 100%.
Tomorrow I can sign up and do it in the best universities online.
Yeah.
It's never too late either. But I feel like the path, this was meant to be my path. This was meant to be my journey.
Yeah.
Resilience and persistence as well is so important, to learn not to give up, but also not to keep repeating the same pattern that doesn't work, to explore different ways to make things work. Because if you're stuck in one pattern and you're saying, why is it not working? I'm trying, you're trying the wrong thing. This is what I've learned as well. I was doing the wrong thing consistently and thinking, where's the results? And so always try to keep an open mind and explore different possibilities. And I think having mentors like yourself who someone could call and just ask a question and get a perspective and an answer, I think that goes a long way, because ego doesn't go anywhere. And I think a lot of, especially in my industry, ego is very prominent. And I always say, I'm very attracted to artists, especially famous artists, that walk in very humble and you're like, wow, I see how this person got so far and why people love working with him. You can get so far. It's just the money making them all shut up,
That's true. That's
Which
true.
one do you want to be? Who do you want to be? You know what I mean? Always to also be, humble and always ready to learn, take it by the day.
You just shared a whole number of gems, and you will only get all those gems from the diamond in the rough.
Yeah. The pun intended this time. The pun intended.
Just saying. Pirlanta, thank you so much for joining Zeno Talks.
Thank you so much for having me. This was the best podcast ever. Thank you so
Thank you very
much.
much. Thank you. Thank you.